All right, HackerProof HQ. Welcome back. Welcome to episode 3 of the HackerProof HQ podcast. And today we have Kobe. We have Ugo and Khaime on set, and we also have a great guest. And before we go ahead and talk about our guest, introduce our guest, make sure you guys are following us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and also we have a newsletter that just came out. We have an amazing newsletter writer writing it. Her name is Kelly. Make sure you guys are subscribed to our newsletter. And we're glad to bring you guys content that is inspiring, educating, and help you guys, get into the field and get into whatever tech career you're trying to get into. And today, we'll introduce our guests. Big man in the house. We got Plato. Plato is a cloud computing expert and also a founder of a startup, a SaaS startup, Khaime.ai. Khaime.ai. Sorry. Yeah. So in that case, I'm going to pass it over to Plato to introduce himself. Plato, it's good to have you here, bro.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you for having me, guys. I really do appreciate the opportunity. My name is Gabriel, like he has introduced. I have a background in infrastructure engineering. I started off in data analysis and then gradually moved my way up into cloud engineering, got into infrastructure, then did data. But along the line of my career, I was I was also teaching. I'm very big on e-learning, very big on that. So I also follow that trajectory.
What were you teaching?
I was actually teaching data analysis at the time. I was doing data analysis. Then when I moved into cloud engineering, I started teaching cloud engineering too. So I did a lot of mentorship around that. And matter of fact, Khaime started as an e-learning platform where people just went, they could learn anything on their own. And that kind of also had course creators there that could earn. Then from there, we expanded into anyone can just, sell anything there. So right now, you can actually build a website with AI on Khaime. And that's sort of what we do now, especially for small businesses. Yeah. And we still have a plugin for e-learning tools. If you teach anything, you can also use it for plugins. So, yeah.
Okay, so
come on, let's give it up, man. Let's give it up.
Come on. That's a lot because you don't see people doing their thing. Mostly when I see people who are Nigerians, pushing in the field, trying to make a difference, I'm really inspired by that. So it's good having you on. Good having you on. So let's start a little bit with your career. Then we'll move maybe as the podcast progresses. We'll move over to your application that you founded.
Absolutely.
So, how is your entry point into tech? Because I think that's a question that a lot of people want to know. Usually, everyone think that you can just jump into a position in tech and just have that position without really going through the steps of getting your certs, going to school, maybe getting into a help desk or a support role before you get that nice position that pays the bills.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. So when I got into tech, it wasn't how it looks like right now. I'm going to be very honest. I feel like it was a little easy during my time.
Really?
Yes. And I'm saying during my time I'm 45 years old. But I mean, this was pre-COVID. So I try to divide tech into post-COVID and pre-COVID. Okay. The COVID era actually opened up a lot of opportunities. People saw they could work from home and all of that stuff. But before then, because my first major opportunity in tech was with World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE in Stanford. I moved to Stanford, Connecticut to work as a cloud engineer at that time. And let me tell you, then all you needed to do I did my AWS certification, and I got my first job. The interview was one interview, literally what is S3 bucket? It's storage. What is cloud computing? Boom, boom, boom. I passed it. I mean, of course, I had to read for it.
What year was this? Young man, asking. Interviews are not like that no more.
This was what year was before COVID? Actually,
2019.
So this was around 2018. Yeah, towards the end of 2018. That was not when I got into tech. So I was before that I was working as a data analyst with New York. I was working at New York City's the Department of Department of Homeless Services. Pretty much. Yeah, that was where I was working as a data analyst. Then I kind of progressed into being a cloud engineer.
So basically, what made you transfer from being a data analyst to the cloud?
It was simple. Honestly, it was the money. I'm gonna be very honest.
I like that honesty.
Yeah,
I like that honesty.
Straight up. Yeah, that was. But then, when I started off, eventually I found, the passion was there, and for me. But I remember then I was, just to be full disclosure, I was earning $27 an hour as a data analyst then. Honestly, then it
wasn't bad.
Big deal.
It
wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And then I had a friend who had taken the solution architect associate and then he got a job with Accenture then, and he was making $120K, and I'm wait a minute.
What's going on?
So I took the certification, I did interview. I think I did my first interview was how I got my first job. And it wasn't a lot of people teaching tech then. It was just I went to YouTube, learned it, did the certification, and then boom, I got the job. So it's harder now. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. I was gonna ask that question too, because like you said, pre-COVID, right? You had like one interview and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
So I feel like it's pretty competitive right now because everybody's in the cloud, right? Everybody's in the cloud, and so how did you maneuver that those stages, right? From going into tech, being data analysis and like getting into the cloud. Then now that it's so competitive, how have you managed that or maneuver that that stage basically?
I mean, one thing is no matter what it gets to, experience will always make you stand out.
That's true.
That no one can ever take it from you. And that's why I push for even people that are just learning now. I really push for hands-on projects, doing a lot of projects, because during the time, even when it was tough and I was having to interview, I still never had too much problem, because one of the things that I was doing differently was I was able to talk about the previous project. If you ask me to talk about what I've worked on before, I would say all tons of. I worked with Nike as a data engineer. Oh, wow. Just that experience alone gave me a shitload of experience that I could open up myself to during interviews. So most of my interviews are more of conversations as opposed to trying to.
That's how it should be. Because I feel like that if you're having a conversation and you're having a conversation with the person interviewing you, it makes it easier for them to
super easy
branch off and ask.
I could tell when you're reading off.
Of something.
So that was something that was
I know you also talked about salary transparency, and you talked about how you started off making $27 an hour.
Yep.
And your heights of your career. What your heights of your career for the position you were doing? What is the salary range someone should be expecting for something in the cloud? You talked about data engineering. Maybe you could give a rundown on maybe senior, junior, and entry-level data engineering. And you talked about cloud computing or cloud engineer.
Cloud engineering.
So if you're free to talk about salary transparency, what is something they should be looking for in those different ranges?
I would say to get your foot in cloud engineering, I would say an average of 110 to 120K, just starting out.
That's realistic.
But that doesn't necessarily mean you're positioning yourself as, I don't know anything about cloud engineering, I'm coming here to learn it. It's you still have some level of experience, but it's not as senior as it might be. So from 120K, and it could go up to 280K. I'll tell you one. I've never said this before on any, but I'm gonna say it.
It's coming as personal platform.
So and I guess this is maybe the part where we can actually transition into being a business owner and also being in the corporate.
Of course.
I got a 270K offer at some point that and that's so this was a role that I was supposed to resume as I was supposed to work as a senior infrastructure engineer to sort of not lead per se, but I'm overseeing the entire infrastructure. And I didn't get the offer just because not my final interview, the final discussion on how the offer would go. The hiring man, the CTO sent me a link of because I'm on Forbes Technology Council.
That's
so
great.
he sent me a link of that. Yeah, that's great. But that deal wasn't great for me. So he sent me the link and I was like, "Is this you?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then I never heard from him again. And that was I didn't get that offer.
Really?
Whoa.
You didn't get the offer because of that?
Yes.
But
literally,
why,
that was
though? How does you being on Forbes technology isn't that
like an add-on?
Add-on?
Yes,
that's
I'll tell you. So. Because number one, it's a startup company, and they recently raised about $250 million. I definitely would not mention the name of that startup. Now, if you go to Google and see my profile on Forbes Technology Council, it talks about me building a startup currently, building this business and all that. So I thought to him that was sort of a conflict of interest, even though it wasn't going to affect what I was going to do. But I think that was one time that I'm like, oh damn,
So you think that with jobs, if they see you're doing something outside of work that is helping a lot of people out, being beneficial to yourself, it kind of rubs them the wrong way?
It depends on how they perceive it and also how you put it out there. But I believe most businesses, especially if you're trying to get into a startup company, they almost don't want to know you are building something else. They assume you're spending the company hours building.
But it could be something else again. So it could be maybe they felt because you're building something, you have enough experience and they can afford you.
That's another way. But I just felt for them because he was the CTO directly interacting with me for the last stage. He was like, it was crazy. Like I was ready. The hiring manager was like, I'm gonna send you your offer in like 2 hours. Wow. You're gonna schedule a call with the guy, and he just sent me a link in the email. Like, oh, is this you? And I'm like, I can't even deny myself. That's my last name. I'm like, yes. And
I should be proud about it. You should be proud about it. That'll be a proud moment.
I needed the money at that time, though.
But sometimes the things that don't happen ends up being a blessing somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just said I have to push harder from here.
So now we've talked about, child transparency. We've talked about you being a cloud engineer and data engineer. So what would you say is like a entry point? Like what would someone who's trying to get into a cloud engineering role should be, doing to prepare, like in terms of preparing schooling, certification, mentorship? What do you think is the best route for someone who's trying to get into a cloud engineering job to prepare for it?
Great question. I mean, I'm not sure if this is gonna break anyone's heart, but if you're doing computer science,
break their heart.
if you're doing computer science and you think that is gonna give you a leverage, I'm sorry, like no. It's great, but it doesn't make you stand out from any other person, and that's because I come from an economics background. Like matter of fact, I wanted to do my PhD in economics, but I didn't get accepted into the school I wanted to go. So I did my master's, and then I got into, someone got into cloud, and up until now, I write infrastructures, like I write, software applications and all that. What is most important is to learn anything in cloud, generally tech, learn it like you're learning how to be like a mechanic or like your tailor. Like be very hands-on with it. So because what I've learned is your experience, like what you've done. Yeah, is what you know. Yeah, exactly. So if you're regularly a very smart person, what you need to do extra is to make sure you repeatedly do stuff that to a point that you get used to it. So I think that's something that a lot of people get wrong. When I was teaching, the people that stood out were those that spent extra time outside of class trying to just say, you know what, I'm going to create my own server. I'll try to host my application, push it out there and all that stuff.
Like a home lab or something.
Exactly, the lab. I think the lab is the word. So I think that was something that a lot of people miss out, that you have to actually do continuously.
But
sorry, Daniel, but I was going to say, like, you mentioned studying, like, computer science, right?
Yes.
I feel like that is, very generic, right? I feel like if you're going into stuff like that, you should kind of focus on, a specialty, like, cloud, like cybersecurity and stuff like that.
Yes.
So like having to do like, computer science is a little bit like, generic.
Kobe, I can say this too. Do you think that college really provide you the knowledge that you need to do a job?
I don't think
so. To do a job, no, but to go, like, they give you like the foundation.
Okay, but foundation is good, but I think foundation is. I don't really want to say that sometimes college is not needed, because college is needed, because you have that skills of knowing. Actually, I can't think of.
I think it's more so weeding out competition, right? Because foundation, you can learn that in yourself. Certification,
true.
Your whole lab.
Yeah,
you can get your foundation from now around.
That's actually good. You see.
Personally, sometimes like education, no two they move me. So. You know what I mean? Like it does, but at the same time, you understand, it's kind of like a checklist into weed out competition when you're interviewing against somebody else and stuff like that.
True. But I mean, from my experience, I've never pulled out any of my college certificate to get a job before. I don't know why. And now I'm feeling like, why did I even do it?
Get it. I'm the same. Me that have a bachelor's and master's.
Bro.
Companies don't really ask me for that kind of stuff when I'm applying. They're just asking based on my experience.
Yeah.
To be honest, my certificate is still with the school, man. I haven't taken it yet.
You never got it back?
I haven't picked it up yet.
Wow.
I haven't picked it up yet, man.
Well, and I think we're getting to the middle of this. I want to quickly let you guys know. We also have a link below that if you're trying to donate and help this podcast stay running, we're bringing you good content with different industry experts to help tell their stories. So if it's something that you want to help support us, make sure we are growing, make sure we keep bringing you all this good content that you guys love. Please go ahead and try to help donate below. And also our newsletter is below. So try to subscribe and keep sharing the content. The more you guys share, the more you guys show your support, the more we grow. So anything you guys can do to help, make sure you're doing it.
Let's get it.
And I think we can move over to how, being the founder of Khaime.ai, how that started and just challenges you had, building the app, if you had co-founders. So this would be a good time to talk about, Khaime.ai and just some challenges you had?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot, but I would try my best to sort of highlight the most, the ones that are very, so glaring and people can learn so much from. I would say something that came as a shock to me that I never really, understood is, so you can think maybe I'm coming from Facebook, I worked at Microsoft, then I'm going to be able to do this. No. And that's because the system of startup is it's ghetto. Let's just say it that way first, right? Because, like it's crazy because you're building a product, and first of all, you have to be very delusional, like as a person.
Delusional?
Yes, okay. I'll tell you why. Because you're building a product, and for example, I'm building Khaime.ai, and my competitor is on my deck. You see, my competitor is Wix, my competitor is Shopify. They don't even know who I am, right? And it's like I have to also think this company is gonna be valued at so amount of millions, but you're not even making certain revenue at that time. But you just have to believe it and keep working towards that. So that's one of the things.
One thing is that belief has to be strong.
It has to be
prayer and everything has to be strong.
It has to be insane, and people have to be able to say, "Oh yeah, you're crazy" type thing, and which I personally have accepted that, and it has moved us from a point of just not making zero revenue to we're doing some revenue now. We're even expanding into other regions. But a little backstory to how it started. I build applications for people, and it's just as simple as web applications, like a website. You want to sell your products there, and one of the challenges I found out was that people would say, "Oh, I want to build a website," and you sell, let's say, as simple as someone who sells wigs or someone who does makeup. You want to have your own website, and you don't want to deal with the technicalities of having to build a website, having a repository where people push, because you just want to focus on your business. And I mean, that's exactly what platforms like Shopify, all of these other platforms do. So I was doing that for people, even though these other platforms existed, because people still needed the support. And I thought about it, what is common to a lot of these businesses. Number one is they want to be able to build a website, and they are not too overcomplicated. They just want a website where they can sell their products and they can scale. And also, they don't want to have to spend too much money. So I've done that over time, and I looked at all of the commonalities to them, and I built that as a reusable component. So when I mean reusable component, it's like all of the code base that is associated with everyone is now like a foundational infrastructure where everyone can mount their individual businesses on top. With the use of AI, so I'm not an AI engineer. I would never call myself an AI engineer. It's way more complex than that. But I am a good user of the product from a software standpoint. So I know how to interact with the APIs. Yes. So I started with using ChatGPT API, which is like OpenAI, Claude's, Anthropic, and also DeepSeek. So I combine all of the strengths of these different models together.
For your platform.
Yes, for our platform. So now if you go to Khaime and you say, "Oh, I sell this, I'm in real estate, help me build a website." So we take all of the parameters that are necessary and we build out something, and you have something to start working with in like 25 seconds, and you can just launch it from there. And then we have payment gateway. It's phenomenal.
I got so this startup, Khaime.ai startup, was it founded by you directly, or do you have co-founders also?
It was initially founded by me. Then I brought on other co-founder, another co-founder, and but currently my co-founder is not in the company again, so it's just still me.
What are some challenges you had with co-founders, and we're just running a business in total?
So I think to just I mean,
be honest. It's the
It's not nothing crazy, but one of the challenges I have with co-founder is and I know a lot of founders can relate to this. No one can never have the amount of passion you have as a person that actually initially,
That's true.
It's tough to find the second person that can say, "Look, we're
has
gonna
the same
build
passion."
Even if they have passion, you're still the originator.
The one running it.
So I think that was my initial, the first problem I have with co-founders. The passion wasn't as deep as I had.
Do you ever get to a point that you're expecting the same thing that you're doing for them to be doing also? Because you feel like as the business is going, you're making this push to get it growing. You just expect every other co-founders to have the same push.
So I think I started off like that, but I eventually agreed that, look, no one can ever get to this point.
Exactly.
However, there are certain BRS minimum that you still expect from something that you might probably not get, and it's not their fault. It's just because if they don't carry the vision or they're not, meant
it's
to
hard to be
in
that space.
Yes,
yeah, it's true.
Exactly.
I understand that.
Yeah. So you talked about that. So what are the process I don't know. Sorry, I keep asking questions. Let me wait for you guys to ask. What are some of the process that you guys like do for raising funds for Khaime.ai? Because I know that process is hard. You launching the app, then you looking for different ways. So you just told me you just came from a fundraising event. So how's that process like?
So yeah, I'm currently like going through a fundraising round right now that is more of a family and friends round. I always, even if I'm more on the technical side, I'm not really more on the funding part, but I'm getting to understand that piece now. And from what I've understood so far, when you're starting out, before you reach out to the institutional investors like the venture capitalists, you want to start with a circle of people that believe in what you're building, and most importantly, believe in you as a person that is building and
that's
living
important.
The vision. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean that we are currently in that round right now. We are currently just trying to raise 250K just to like push our product. Yeah, and you have to value the company at the certain. We are currently valuing that at $3 million just to kind of like get a 250K round and get that out. I think for me, the craziest part is having to call my guy and pitch to him, and I love it. I love it because it's like this is someone I was just we're just out yesterday drinking, and today is like I need 25K commitment from you to invest in my business. So I have 0.8%, and I have to explain. I have to tell you, convince you, and you're drilling me asking these questions. I think it's beautiful, and it just shows that no one is just trying to throw your money at you.
Of course, because like because like 25,000 is not small money, man.
Yeah. So before they give you 25,000, I have to ask. So
what exactly? In fact, if I post a video of myself dancing, like, bro, just take that down. I have 25K on you. Take down that video.
That'd be way too much fun.
I hear you.
So, building out your company, the timeline, what was that like? From the idea to execution, coding, all that stuff.
So we went through different iterations, honestly. Like because we've done like e-learning, we've done like course creation platform. But if I would say the actual model we currently run right now, it took us about 8 months to actually get it up and running. And that's because of my previous experience running things and then kind of like dabbling around it. But if you do not have the experience, you can easily spend 2-3 years building. And yes.
What is the challenges in like you spend 2-3 years? What would cause you spending 2-3 years to build a product?
What would cause you 2-3 years to build a product is if you're a first time founder.
Okay.
So you will make one of the biggest mistakes you will make is that you're looking at your competitors and you have this vision in your head and you want to deploy that vision in your head, not understanding that you have to deploy a minimum viable product. And understand that the people that will use it. And then you can then roll out your features out on and on after that. So a lot of the first time founders, they want to build all of the features out.
Straight up.
And it's one of the hardest things to do because you keep coming up with ideas, engineers keep, building and building. And it's like nothing is ready.
And I feel like that's where things like DevOps, processes come into place too as well.
Yep.
Because you can roll out your features, stages.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. That's DevOps piece.
Yeah. So like I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you spoke about competitors, right?
Yeah.
So what sets Khaime.ai apart from like products like Wix and things like that?
That's a great question. In fact, I answered that question not too long ago from an investor I was just pitching to not too long ago. One of the things, we are actually expanding into the African market space.
I saw that. I saw a video you posted. Nigeria.
Exactly.
20 people.
Yep. I'm doing like a 15 women incubator program in Nigeria right now, and it's.
What is incubator? Is that free?
Yeah, it's gonna be free. So we're gonna provide them with resources, also set up their websites for them on Khaime.ai and show them bring in successful businesswomen to show them how they've scaled their own businesses, do their branding for them, everything for free, and kind of
that's needed because there's a lot of people selling stuff on the side and they don't really have a web presence there. They could go ahead and people could order, they could ship it to them. I feel like that's the next evolution in SEO, not SEO, but SEO, right?
Yeah, we
SEO
very
in
strong
Nigeria.
SEO. Yeah. So if you go to Lagos now and you say baddest jollof in Lagos, now you'll be shocked that the kind of, you will see all these big restaurants that they have already gotten themselves exposed to online presence. Meanwhile, there was one mama somewhere that's badass, or she doesn't have, she doesn't have an online presence. So those are some of the things we are trying to like, get up for. Now, what sets us apart from platforms like that is we connect to the people of our own roots and our culture, and by that I mean, you can be in Kaduna and our software recognizes that you're in Kaduna, and you open up your app and they're like, oh, greeting you or you're in Oyo State, and it's like, Ekaro, like type thing like that. So Shopify or Wix, even if they would do that, it takes them a lot of setting up that in the infrastructure to understand how to interact.
It's not something they really
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So those are that's one, and two is support. Like we go through like an hand-holding strategy. I feel like Shopify is full and they're like happy with where they are, or they still want to expand, but I'm very hungry. Like I continuously make sure my users are good. Like we support them. We make sure their SEO is great and they can rank better among other. And also, I think our AI is the next big thing. That's what I think, and we are continuously working to make it better. Like you can go and just punch
the prompts
the prompt, and it builds up your website, and you publish, and of course, you're ready, you're live to go.
That's great.
I know there's some early challenges. We're trying to make the prompt work according to what your vision is.
That's because I specifically built that piece myself. I write backend, so
that's good.
It takes like continuously trying it out and seeing the result, and sometimes you want to build a website for an hairstylist and you're seeing like a construct. I'm like, this is not the so we have to continuously go through that. It's not like a one thing you build and I'm done. You have to continuously train and adjust, fine tune your models and all that stuff.
Okay. Yep. So talked about the app, talked about challenges of being a founder. Where do you see this app? I know you talked about having an incubator in Nigeria, but where do you see this app going in next 5 years as you keep making changes and making upgrade to the Khaime.ai application?
So in the next 5 years, Khaime is going to be the Shopify of Africa.
So pray for that, to be honest.
Absolutely.
It will happen.
Yeah. So people would, at that time, whenever people think about, I want to start a business in Nigeria, after you've talked about what kind of business you want to do, the second thing you're thinking about is Khaime, how to get it on Khaime. I think if I get to that point, we're good for life.
How do you, let's say for example, because if I already have access and I develop my website through Khaime, how can I keep that income coming from the same person? Because, in most applications, you don't want to make it like a one-time payment thing that you make that one-time payment. Now you're looking to sell it to more people. How can you keep that income coming from that individual? Is it like a subscription program, or is it like, do you understand? You guys understand what I'm saying?
We have two models, right? Two revenue models. So the first revenue model is you pay every month, and if you go it's hosted on a server, and the server runs at a certain cost.
Storage.
Yes, exactly. Storage and compute, basically. So you pay, I think, at the minimum for those in Nigeria, 5,000 naira a month. In the United States, $13.99 in the United States a month, which is reasonable. And also for every transaction you make on Khaime, you pay like a certain, but it's very ridiculously, great fee too. So we kind of charge transactions.
There's so many different plugin with different apps for payment systems, right?
Yeah. So Stripe is our major payment gateway, and also we have direct bank transfer for people in Nigeria. We use Paystack, is like the Stripe. So we have that payment gateway and transfer.
Integrate with the APIs and stuff.
Exactly. Webhooks and all of that stuff. They're already connected.
I got you. So speaking of integrations and AI integrations, where do you see AI going in the next 5 years?
I think in the next 5 years, I believe, first of all, I think right now AI has a lot of hype than what we are projecting it to be. But then that doesn't mean it's not gonna really shoot up there. But I can tell you for a fact that in the next 5 years, those that are saying, AI is days, I think it's already happening. Those that are saying, AI is bad, it's taking our jobs, they would eventually be forced to learn AI because nobody really wants to be dropped behind. Like, for example, a platform like Khaime, we are pushing in the next 5 years, no, not in the next 5 years, in the next 1 year, you want to have an entire agent, business agent, customer service on the platform. Now, the way that would work is you would have your website and our like we are able to understand, our AI is able to understand the content of your website, such that if you go there and type, oh, how long does it take to ship orders? He understands, he has a knowledge base of what your business does. So you don't have to respond to that. Your AI runs through your knowledge base and gives you a response back. So everything will be agents based. So there will be like different systems, independent systems that are connecting with themselves and running process. Because what the gap right now is, you have to prompt it, and then when you get the results, you have to put it somewhere else. But there will then be like independent flows that just you stay back and they logically communicate with themselves and say, okay, I mean, AI can actually argue. Exactly. Bro, that doesn't make sense. Let's do it this way. And you're outside of it. I think the only problem with that is, we're not using our brain again.
True. I mean, and I feel like, we've gotten to a stage where people should understand that this tech world is always going to be, changing, evolving. Evolution. You have to stay with the trend. You have to stay with the, the evolution and stuff like that. So, AI is going to be big. So,
So I think we're getting closer to the last 5 minutes of the podcast. I don't know how long we're recording for, but we usually like to leave the guests room to ask us questions about HackerProof, what we're all about, just anything they want to know about HackerProof and what we envision or where you envision HackerProof going in the future. So we'll leave the floor open for you. If you have any questions for us, we'll try to answer it. And maybe some of these guys, you guys have more questions for him, then we'll go ahead and ask.
No, you can,
absolutely. No, this, I think, first of all, I think I told y'all the other day, like, I love, what this is about. And I've seen a lot of podcasts, and I believe in, value, value to, especially the people that are coming, like, giving them the knowledge and at the same time making it fun and we having this kind of conversation. So I would say definitely you guys are doing super amazing. But I think one question that I have is like, what would be like in the next, 5 years? Like, what would you say you see HackerProof?
Well, hopefully by then we've grown into an event space where we're hosting different events. We have the podcast. We have a great newsletter that is written by someone who's doing a great job on the team, Kelly. And
shout out Kelly.
Shout out Kelly. We have Kyrie also. People are just joining. People want to be involved in HackerProof. And just us having our own people involved in HackerProof, we're able to create great, amazing app. Even Kemby said something yesterday, said that we need to put pressure on each one of us to be able to do something great for ourselves. Like we're creating an application right now that helps you optimize your resume.
That's dope.
Bring all jobs into one platform and helps you with AI, helps train you for the job that you're applying for. But that's not only the thing we can accomplish. When we are a group of Africans, group of Nigerians all grouped together, making things happen for ourselves. Kemi could have an idea now. Hey, let's create an app or let's do something else within HackerProof or outside of HackerProof. And we say, okay, we support your idea. How can we make it happen? So us just being a community, being like-minded, being Africans, I think we could make anything happen. I think this 9 to 5 that we're working is great, but we are way bigger than that. And I think we could accomplish a lot. Build an organization that is worldwide, not only something that is just local to America or local to the States, worldwide. So I think in order for us to accomplish our goal, it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, but just with effort and God.
God
we'll make it, always. With God and effort, we'll make it happen. So I think we have a great group, and just being inspired, seeing what you're doing yourself, coming onto this show, talking about your experience, even makes us more motivated to try to make things happen for ourselves. So I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys having me too.
So hey, you like that? So hey, as we're wrapping this up, make sure you guys are subscribing. Make sure you guys follow us on all social media. We'll try to be more active. You should be seeing more one-on-one content from each individual member of the team as we try to create more and do more for the community. And make sure you donate below and subscribe. And episode 3 of season 2. Peace. Appreciate you.
Peace. Thanks, man.
Great. Now that was beautiful.